programme this evening.
How will we cope? The question tens of thousands in our region are asking. As energy bills rise to historic levels, many say they fear for the future.
In our place it's too cold without heating. You know what I mean? And I have 2 kids, so even though for myself I can take the cold, but my kids.
A man in his 90s dies in an explosion at his house in Manchester. We'll be live with the latest.
She's the angel of Przemysl. Tonight we're back in Poland and catching up with Wendy Warrington, the midwife from Bury, who's on a mission of mercy to help those fleeing from peril in Ukraine.
The Hollywood A-lister and his team standing between Stockport County and a big day at Wembley.
I'll be on stage in Liverpool with none other than Joe Dommett.
Yay! Join me at the end of the show for all things Masked Singer.
And we seem to have had 4 seasons in every day over the last few, but what does the weekend weather have in store? Find out later on.
Yeah, please stay with us. First, though, it is the 1st of April, and it's already been dubbed April Cruel Day, as household bills are rising to the highest levels in living memory.
In addition to the cost of fuel and food going up, the price of energy is rocketing, as much as £700 a year for some.
There are protests against the cost of living planned across the northwest tomorrow. Meanwhile, even a government minister on a salary of more than £100,000 a year has admitted that paying for the rising cost of living will be, quote, tricky for him.
Our correspondent Rob Smith's been speaking to people really worried about paying those big bills, and also to energy experts trying to help.
What I'm going to do is attach this to the cable here.
Instantly revealing LILLIAN Griffiths' energy use takes the click of a gadget. With every click of a switch after, a readout dial goes from green to amber to red.
One bulb can save you £13 a year.
LILLIAN from New Brighton's worried about today's big price rise. A home-wide energy assessment's installed modern bulbs and special reflective foil behind radiators. Yet seeing how much she's using, knowing what it'll now cost, has convinced her even basic cooking has to change.
Were you surprised to see it turn red?
Unbelievably surprised. I have wondered when I make the tea and put the cooker on and the kettle on, just for one person, I couldn't believe it. So absolutely, it was a shock, really. I will be using my slow cooker and my microwave as a choice against the main cooker for many meals.
Because it's cheaper to run?
Because it's cheaper to run, yes.
Energy prices are going up by 54%. Now, I've been in the energy sector for 35 years and I have never experienced anything like this. It certainly will have a massive financial impact on people's lives.
Working out how much money we're burning on cooking, heating and lighting's never been more important. For part-time care worker LEAH Brocklehurst from Manchester, it's a tough calculation. She's worried what'll be left from her wages and benefits. With almost no furniture, LEAH's spending £37 on a much-needed second-hand sofa for her and her 2 daughters. But it's a stretch, given the energy bill.
Depends what I can get today, you know what I mean, on my budget, that's all.
Budget that's forever shrinking because the gas and electricity is forever going up.
Yes, it is indeed. In our place it's too cold without heating. For myself, I can take the cold, but my kids, so I need to on. So basically like 4 to 5 hours is on our heating, and then I'm gonna off again. It is really quite expensive, very expensive.
That is glowing like mad.
Yeah, so this is a traditional timber door. It's what the house would have come with. So where you can see it glowing, that's the energy coming through that door.
An entire house built in a giant metal box with mock weather helps researchers in Salford discover how to best save energy.
So on this boiler, for instance, it's a case of opening the menu and we press the heating icon, and it's currently set at 70. So 70 is a little high.
They showed me a boiler's little-known second thermostat. It cuts the temperature of the water flowing around your pipes. It may take longer to heat your home, but it can save gas and money. And there are other ways too.
We're really talking about things like controlling the heating So obviously adjusting the thermostat down to the point where you're comfortable, but not as high as you maybe have it. Controlling the heating room by room, so you can buy thermostatic radiator valves where you can adjust each room by maybe time and temperature. So have the kids' rooms warm when they need them, but not when they're out at school. Loft insulation is a classic example of that. It's a DIY install or a very simple builder's install.
A more complex builder's install can save up to 50% on your energy bill, say experts. Solid wall insulation, cavity wall insulation, solar panels all make a huge difference. But the cost can run to tens of thousands. There are grants available for people on low incomes whose homes leak heat.
How does it feel to be able to do this for people?
It feels fantastic. I mean, the scheme itself is absolutely brilliant. The council are doing a fantastic job by funding it, putting the insulation on a property such as this, solid walls. The heat loss is immense. The minute we add insulation to it, we bring carbon footprints down, lower bills, which is important in the current climate.
Overnight, your energy bills have increased.
A climate of protest in Salford today. People who believe the government hasn't done enough.
It's very hard to cope with the rises in fuel that we're seeing, rise in price of fuel that we're seeing at the moment. Chancellor has moved to assist. Obviously the living wage is rising by 6.6% today, £9 billion coming in rebates through the council tax system, the national insurance threshold rising in July, worth another 330 quid to millions of people. And obviously for those at the lower end, we've got the Household Support Fund, £1 billion alongside other assistance targeted at helping them.
Switching off to save may still feel like the only option for some. Those who've already insulated, who've already changed bulbs and appliances, who are already spending so much. Rob Smith, ITV News.
Yeah, it's certainly a worry for many, many people, and there will be more on the cost of living on our programme next week. And on our website, a very detailed explainer of some of the ways you could actually save some money. Just head to itv.com/Granada for that. Some very useful information on there.
This evening's other news now, and a man in his 90s has died after a suspected gas explosion at a house in South Manchester. It happened in Wythenshawe, and emergency services were called by neighbours last night who reported hearing a loud bang.
Crews found the man in the wreckage, but he was pronounced dead at the scene. Emma Sweeney is live there for us this evening. Emma.
It was like an earthquake. That is how some locals here have described the suspected gas explosion that took place on Brownlee Road at around about this time last night. And you can see the house behind me where it happened. The windows have been absolutely shattered. Now, the police, ambulance and fire services all arrived here in a matter of minutes. They evacuated some nearby houses and they also went into that property behind us. But it was there that they sadly discovered the remains of a 91-year-old man. He has been named locally today as Frank Burton, a father of two, a widowed father of two. Well, today we've been getting the reaction of some neighbours.
It was absolutely crazy. I was stood in my kitchen. I think it was around 6 o'clock it was. Massive bang. I couldn't, at the time, I sort of jolted myself back and I was just like, what was that, basically? It was so loud.
Very, very sad, yeah. We didn't find out till later on that he'd actually died, so that's a bit of a shame. And condolences to the family, really, really sad.
Beautiful house, Tudor house, everything. It's just devastating what's happened to him and that.
It's just sad that he's just died, you know, just life can go just that fast, and it could happen to any of us, and that's the sad part.
Now, there has been some local speculation here today that the cause of the blast could have been down to some kind of heating device, but that has not been confirmed by investigators who say it's too early for them to determine the cause for this blast.
Making the premises safe because we have investigations to carry out, so at the minute the building isn't safe for colleagues from GMP to enter for their investigation or for fire investigation, but GMFRS and GMP are working closely together, working with Canadian Gas as well to try and sort of get to the bottom of what caused the incident.
Informed by the fire service, this is an isolated incident to that specific premises and there's not a wider risk to other properties in the vicinity.
Well, officers from the fire services will be in this area now over the next few days. They'll be talking to locals, they'll be giving them advice around fire safety, but they'll also be trying to reassure them as they try and work out exactly what's happened. Back to the studio.
Emma Sweeney in Wythenshawe, thank you.
Next tonight, the Mayor of Greater Manchester, Andy Burnham, has welcomed an allocation of nearly £14.5 million in government cash to fund a violence reduction unit. The units, which are in place nationwide, bring the police together with education, health and local government groups to help steer vulnerable youngsters away from crime. It's estimated they've helped prevent thousands of violent offences. Merseyside Police is also set to get £6 million of support.
We're going to take a community-led approach, trust our communities to work with the young people who are either at risk of violence or risk of becoming a perpetrator of violence. And the community-led approach in Greater Manchester is really beginning to work. Today, we've got funding to keep it going for 3 years, but also to take it to all 10 council areas in Greater Manchester.
Next, back to the response from the North West to the war in Ukraine and the midwife from Bury on a personal mission to help refugees crossing the border into Poland.
Yeah, Wendy Warrington has become a bit of a celebrity in the town of Przemysl, where she's not only been welcoming Ukrainians fleeing the war, but also helping in the massive effort to feed, clothe and shelter them too.
Our reporter Victoria Grimes was in Przemysl last month and now she's back there.
Victoria, have you managed to meet up with Wendy yet?
Andy, and yes, I'm back in Przemysl. Just behind me is the refugee reception centre where we were filming last time we were here. There's 1,400 people in there at the moment, sleeping on camp beds next to each other. There's been all kinds of things happening today, which Wendy will be able to tell you about in a second. And yes, I have been able to catch up with her, and also her husband Simon, who's driven this ambulance over from the UK. And let's see if they are there now. Hello, Simon, you're here, and you've got all this aid that's been donated. Yeah. Fantastic stuff. Can we come in and have a look? Brilliant. I'll come round the side. So Simon drove over from Bury. It took him 27 hours to get here to be with Wendy so that he could help. Right, let's hop in, because as you can probably see, it's raining very heavily at the moment, isn't it? Oh, Wendy, you look exhausted.
I am. It's been really tiring. I'm coming to the end of my 3 weeks now, and there's just something always going on. We don't seem to stop.
Well, there's been all sorts happening here today. We've had an emergency with a pregnant lady. There's been an outbreak of food poisoning inside there. There's been all sorts going on that you've had to deal with.
Absolutely. So we've had to deal with the outbreak and try to get the kitchen closed down and disinfected, and then we've been over to another centre, half an hour's drive away from here, in the ambulance to collect a lady who we were concerned about with the children, to get an ultrasound scan.
Oh goodness, and thank goodness Simon's here for you. How did you feel when he got here and you saw him?
I was really happy to see him. It was really quite overwhelming, and he had a very long journey, but like everything else around here, I had to put him straight to work.
Well, she certainly did, didn't she, Simon? How was it for you when you got here? How did you feel?
I was shattered. A 27-hour drive, and she said, Simon, open the doors, throw some more boxes in. It's just constant. It's just non-stop.
It's non-stop, and you've been here just a couple of days and you've seen that as well. I mean, how difficult is it to see the situation that so many people here are in?
It's quite concerning seeing the people, I must admit. It's really got me
It's
walking.
emotional.
Yeah, it is very emotional. And looking what Wendy's done and what she's achieved, it's amazing. It really is. I'm so proud of her.
Are you proud of her?
Absolutely, yeah, 100%.
And you've missed her so much. You've missed your children and your 5 grandchildren at home, of course, as well.
I had to do Mother's Day. I was the surrogate mother for Mother's Day. I had to call our children out and our 5 grandchildren. We give Wendy a call from there.
Yeah,
that was really nice. I was really quite not upset at first when I saw the fan, but then when they put the kids on, then I just absolutely had a look.
I know.
Down.
And I know that seeing the kids here has really affected both of you, hasn't it?
It's so, it just reminds me of our grandchildren. Every child we see, you can see one of our grandchildren, and I just wouldn't want our children to see or go through what these kids are doing.
You're going home tomorrow. I can't believe that it's come round, you're going home, but you've got another job on the way home, I believe you just found out.
Yeah, it's just literally happened now. So I'm taking an 87-year-old lady home to her family. Her visa's just come through, so I'm going to escort her and get her over because she has some disability issues.
Wendy, Simon, you're absolutely phenomenal people. I know the North West is incredibly proud of you. We'll have a special report from here in Przemysl in Poland on Monday night's Granada reports.
Yeah, very special couple. Vicky, thank you very much indeed.
Look ahead to next week now, and we're marking the 40th anniversary of the start of the Falklands War with a series of special reports.
Our reporter Paul Crone's been speaking to 3 veterans who fought in the South Atlantic, all with very different experiences.
Back in 1982, a British task force sailed over 8,000 miles to liberate the Falklands and defeat Argentine forces. Here's a taster of what's to come.
You didn't realise that you'd be lying down on a start line like they used to in the First World War, getting told to stand up and advance to contact.
I don't take pride in having shot somebody or other people losing their life at my hands.
3 times that winchman went down, and 3 times he brought men up.
The decks beneath our feet were starting to heat up, and our shoes eventually were starting to melt and stick to the floor. It was so hot.
That's next week. Back to tonight. Here's what's coming up in the ITV News at 6:30 with Charlene.
The cost of living crisis deepens, with warnings millions of households could be sent into the red. The biggest rise in energy bills in living memory kicked in today, and the increases aren't going to end there. So what more can be done to help? Russia accuses Ukraine of carrying out an attack on an oil depot on its home soil. COVID cases in the UK reach a record high, but how concerned should we be? And it's the World Cup draw in Qatar. England, Scotland and Wales are all involved. We'll have all the reaction. Those stories and more from 6:30.
Talking of that draw, onto sport and that breaking news involving England, David.
Draw for the finals in Qatar is taking place right now as we speak. There are plenty of Northwest stars in the England squad, and we know the teams that they will face in the group stages. They've been drawn in Group B so far against USA, Iran, and in the last few minutes against Wales, Scotland, or potentially Ukraine. Incredible. Well, in fact, England's first game will be against Iran on November the 21st. That's the opening day of the tournament. It's a Winter World Cup this year. Well, United face Leicester at Old Trafford tomorrow evening. Well, tomorrow lunchtime, Liverpool kick off the weekend's Premier League fixtures against Watford. After months of being behind Manchester City in the table, Jurgen Klopp's side will go top with a win at Anfield, and he's calling on the fans to play their part.
What we need for this game is a sensational, the best 12:30 atmosphere ever. Not nervous, not whatever, not like this tense and I cannot breathe. If you cannot shout and sing or whatever, stay at home and give your ticket to somebody else, please.
Well, City can make it a short stay at the top for Liverpool and go back above them with a win at Burnley tomorrow. However, the Clarets also need the points in their relegation battle. Fellow strugglers Everton play on Sunday against West Ham. Well, away from the Premier League, there's a big game in League One where Wigan and Bolton face each other, while in the FA Trophy, Stockport County are just one win away from a return to Wembley. Tomorrow they face Wrexham in their semi-final. Wrexham, of course, owned by Hollywood actor Ryan Reynolds. So will there be a Hollywood ending for County this weekend? We sent our very own superstar Chris Hall to see them.
When it's time for the pre-match team talks, you'd forgive Stockport players for having an ear to the dressing room wall to catch a Hollywood performance from the Wrexham owner.
It's cold. We're glad we don't play in the winter.
Ryan, we play in the winter.
Dear God, we have got to get out of this league.
But all the leagues play in the winter.
We have to get out of those leagues next.
I think it's great. I think you have to roll with it. I think what it's done, it's increased the profile of football at this level. It's increased the profile of the National League, and that can only be a good thing.
Are you a Ryan Reynolds fan?
I'm not a fan.
Are there any of his films that you like?
There are some of his films that I've seen. Their adverts and stuff are very, very funny. They've completely reignited a club that has been a little bit down in the doldrums for quite some time.
Dave has done the same for Stockport's 10th in the National League when he took over, 5 months later, 11 points clear of Wrexham at the top. Tomorrow, only the Deadpool star and his team stand between them and a trip to Wembley in the FA Trophy. So Wrexham may have the Hollywood glamour, but here at Stockport County, they have their own film stars, cling film stars. Let's just say when Paddy Madden leaves training today, he won't be in the best of moods. It's a wrap, as Mr. Reynolds might say.
He's going to be livid, and I love it.
This may have been for April Fool's Day, but the one-upmanship is encouraged all year round here. Even five-a-side games are deliberately made fiercely competitive.
There's a few shower gels been bought, by the losing teams and stuff, so you see some of the boys putting in extra few metres in the runs and a few harder tackles and stuff like that, but if we can get that mentality and mindset right day to day, it sort of comes into autopilot when we do it, those games on the weekend, and as it's shown, it's why we've had the run that we've had so far.
The losers buy the shower gels.
Shower gels. Yeah, it's a very clean dressing room.
After more than a decade in non-league football, Stockport now have security with a 250-year lease agreed with the council for their Edgeley Park home. Their loyal fans can now see the bigger picture. After 20 wins in 21 matches, so too can the players, like the former Bolton captain, who dropped 2 divisions to join this team.
It's definitely on our minds to give the fans something for a day out at Wembley. These times don't come round often as players and fans, and we'll be doing everything to make sure that we all enjoy a good day out there.
With any luck, you could be back in the same division as Bolton in a couple of years anyway.
Well, that's the aim, and within a couple of years Stockport will be back on the map, definitely.
Against a superhero, Stockport will be cast as the villains, but a trip to Wembley wouldn't be a bad encore. Chris Hall, ITV News.
Next, it's part of Saturday Night for millions, and now the Masked Singer is going on the road.
Yes, and we're very lucky that the tour is starting in the Northwest, featuring celebrity guests, new masks and a host of surprises.
Well, no showbiz premiere would be complete without our entertainment correspondent Caroline Whitmore. She went behind the scenes at the M&S Bank Arena in Liverpool on the eve of the opening night.
Well, for the first time ever, the Masked Singer is heading out on tour, and it all kicks off tomorrow night here at the M&S Bank Arena in Liverpool.
The TV series is obviously jam-packed full of performances and all the VTs and the panel and the take it off and everything that we love about the show. But yeah, we've managed to bring it to a live environment into this arena, and it's taken months of planning. It's like a series in one night.
Aston, Denise, you're on the celebrity panel, looking very swish there.
We said we got the best seats in the house. This is great. Honestly, it's going to be so much fun.
I think it is. It's the anticipation's been really building, I think, for the past couple of weeks, especially in my household. I left this morning and he was like, "Daddy, why are you going to work?" And I said, "Well, this is what I'm doing." Showed him the poster and he was like, "Oh, when can I cut?" And I was like, wow, this is really going to... If that's the excitement from him, I'm sure this crowd is just going to be another level.
Backstage, everything, it's like on the TV show where they're kept separate from us. They wear the mask and the "Don't Speak to Me" tops, and see if you can listen to hear them singing in their dressing room.
So even though you don't know who celebrity singers are, you do know who's going to be on the celebrity panel. Liverpool, it's Samia Longchamp. Who is it going to be in Manchester?
Oh, well, it's my lovely friend Queen Bee Nicola Roberts, and I'm so excited about this because we were on the same first series. We did a group number holding hands, and I thought she was Ariana Grande. So when they did the reveal, I was like, Nicola, because we're friends.
Well, I'm now on stage at the M&S Bank Arena with Joel Dommett.
Oh, I liked the double fingers.
Do you like the double click? Excited? You're coming on tour with the Masked Singer?
Very excited. Yeah, it's so wonderful, honestly. I mean, I've done 3 series of the show now on television, and I've seen how much audiences in the TV context enjoy it. Now I can do it to a full arena of people. It's just it's genuinely such a joy.
I'm usually at home in my living room shouting "Take it off."
Yes.
But you're going to have like nearly 7,000 people here.
I know.
You won't shut them up.
I know. And that is the most fun part, isn't it? Like, everyone loves shouting. People shout it at me in the street nowadays. Take it off, boy. Take it off. Take it off. And I'm like,
I hope you don't take anything off,
I
Joel.
don't.
And there are 2 brand new masks.
Yes, we've got Baby Dino and we've got Space Pug. Really, like, cute.
Something that is more elaborate than the masks are your suits. Aren't they going on auction to help brain tumour?
Yes, brain tumour support. I did an auction for them last year and I raised £16,000. We do a raffle where the tickets are £5. I've now got a lot of them in my closet, and I feel like it's a lovely way to make money for a really, really great charity.
And I love it because I say the masked singer, very northern,
Yes.
and you're very the masked singer.
Masked singer.
The masked singer.
I'll do a bit of masked tonight for you.
It.
Just
Try
for
it
you.
for the Northwest
Yeah. Just try and fit in a little bit, you know.
Definitely masked.
Masked. Now, here's the weather with Joe.
Now that is brew weather.
And only boiling what she needs.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Big up you, sis.
Thank you. A very good evening to you and welcome to the weekend. The last couple of days have felt very cold, and that's certainly how we'll enter this weekend. Saturday, a chilly day with some sunshine around, 1 or 2 showers here and there. Frost to come over the next few nights, but very gradually some slightly milder air moving in from Sunday and into next week. Now, that cold plunge of air from the Arctic has given us some frosty conditions. We've seen some snow in 1 or 2 spots, but gradually through the course of the weekend, some slightly milder air will erode those colder conditions, and we're back up to double figures into next week. Unfortunately, it will be quite unsettled, and we are due some spells of wet weather. But back to this evening, a showery rain skirting down Irish Sea coast and for the Isle of Man will meet the cold air and turn to sleet and snow for 1 or 2 spots, perhaps at the Isle of Man, Liverpool Bay area, parts of Cheshire overnight tonight. Hopefully when we're all tucked up in bed and it won't settle. Elsewhere, a dry night, clear, cold, frosty. A few icy stretches and temperatures perhaps down to around -2. On to tomorrow. The sun will be up at 6:43 and it sets tomorrow evening at 7:48. Saturday then, a chilly start to the day. A few showers around again for western coasts, but elsewhere a bright, cold, frosty start to the day and lots of dry weather to be had tomorrow. Very small risk of a shower during the afternoon and more cloud building, but staying largely dry for most of us. And temperatures tomorrow getting to 8 or 9 Celsius, but as we've seen over the last couple of days, feeling quite a good deal colder than that. Sunday will be milder. We're back up to double figures. Next week looking unsettled, but probably more spring-like. Bye-bye.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
2 sugars, please. Oh, lovely.
Thanks, Joe, and that's Granada Reports for this week. But of course, we'll be back with bulletins tonight and across the weekend.
And next week we'll be at the world's most famous steeplechase as racegoers return to the Grand National and winning lots and lots of money.
Yes, I think it's going to be a busy one. For now, though, enjoy your evening and thanks very much for watching. Good night.
Good night.